Okay, welcome to the Troy Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, April 13th. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Here.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Here.
Mr. McGarry?
Here.
Mayor?
Here.
Mr. Titterington?
Here.
Mr. Wolke?
Here.
Mr. Cappers?
Here.
All members are present.
Okay, we have the minutes of March 23rd disseminated before us today. Are there any corrections, deletions? I have one. I'm sorry, I didn't call you about this before. The issue concerning the downtown overlay, down at the bottom of the first page, I'll give you this. But there was a reference here that Mr. Davis commented that the application would be amended to include the requirement of the fence around the playground. This was the Lincoln Center discussion. It says Mr. Cappers indicated that the application is so amended. I don't think I can do that. I think it has to say that
Okay.
that the applicant being present, the applicant approved of such an amendment, and Mr. Cappers indicated that the application is so amended. So with that change, are there any other additions, corrections, or deletions?
Make a motion to approve.
As amended?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Adopted.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, we have, speaking of downtown riverfront overlay district, 224 South Market Street. Staff have a report.
Yes, sir. So this is for the installation of a 7.5 square foot projecting sign at the property located at 224 South Market Street, Suite C. This multi-tenant building is permitted to have a total of 75 square feet of building signage, with each individual tenant calculated separately based on the frontage they occupy. The applicant is proposing to install, again, the 7.5 square foot projecting sign with the thought of using the DRO process. The sign measures 30 inches by 36 or 7.5 square feet. The sign code permits a total of one projecting sign per principal structure, resulting in the DRO request this evening. Staff recommends approval of the proposed sign with the condition that the sign shall be approved using the DRO process. This conditional recommendation is due to, with the DRO, the projecting sign encourages a pedestrian-friendly environment as recommended in the comprehensive plan, really the MKSK study. And the projecting sign relates harmoniously to the exterior building material and color while expressing a simple and clear message.
Any questions of staff? Okay. What is the alternative? If we say no to a DRO, what does the guy have to come back and do? Is this a variance issue or?
No, this is, again, the DRO for the projecting sign. If we don't allow or recommend approval of the DRO, they would have to come back for just a traditional building mount or wall mount sign. The DRO request is only just to allow an additional projecting sign. We're encouraging this DRO because the common trend is to allow for more projecting signs in the downtown, and it's something that staff is encouraging in the future with a future sign code update.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just to add to that, the sign code is not a zoning code matter, so variances don't come into play.
Okay.
It's separate.
Thank you. Okay. Good. Are there notifications given to neighbors on?
They are directly contiguous and across the public right of way.
Okay. So the neighbors have gotten notification of this,
Will.
and the public hearing is coming up.
Well,
They
this
will
is,
receive it.
they will receive it for the second reading of public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of staff? Okay.
I'd appreciate what staff has added to that they're looking to make this part of some modifications of the sign code, because, you know, this would be, I can see this coming up a lot, and it's not really, I don't think, the right tool. I mean, if it needs to be addressed, we need to address it in the sign code.
Yeah, so the projecting signs are more geared towards pedestrian oriented, and that is a recommendation of our MKSK study. So.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Any other questions of staff? Since no other, did you have a question?
I was going to make the motion to approve.
There's no action being taken today. It's a public hearing next week.
Okay.
Are you withdrawing your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Next item is the application for 201 West Water Street Overfield Tavern. Staff report.
Yes, sir. So the Overfield Tavern Museum conducted an architectural assessment report in 2019. The assessment report identified an accelerated rate of deterioration of the poplar siding located on the west elevation facing South Mulberry Street. Continuing exposure to hewn logs located on the south and east elevations has led to extensive dry rot. So phase one of these efforts have been completed with the replacement of the wood shingled roof to an imitation wood shingle known as the EnviroShade. This was approved back in February of 2020. At the August 25th of 21 Planning Commission meeting, the applicant requested to review the temporary exterior alteration that included the removal of the poplar on the west facade along South Mulberry Street and the partial removal of the white latex paint on the front facade, just so the structural engineer could make assessments. What came out of that was the west elevation logs that were protected by the wood siding are in relatively good repair with minimum repairs needed, and the south and east elevations that were covered in latex paint need substantial repairs, including replacement logs. So this particular request is to consider the exterior alterations repair of the Overfield Tavern south elevation facing Water Street only. The request is for the removal and replacement of the second story ledge log and first story sill logs, including the sill log that was replaced with the modern lumber in 1998, and additional exterior log replacements and repairs and foundation repairs. The replacement logs are sourced from essentially barns in the area. These hewn logs will be old growth and over 100 years old. And then additionally, there's some foundation repair work that's needed. This includes stones that will be salvaged and foundation essentially risen to above the ground level. All required work will be reviewed by the Miami County Department of Development should this request proceed forward. Staff recommends approval of the requested removal and replacement logs of the second story ledge log and first story sill log, exterior repair and replacement logs, and foundation repairs on the with the following conditions. The exterior repairs and foundation work are reviewed and approved by the Miami County Department of Development. The cheeking and daubing mortar repairs and replacement will include historically appropriate mixtures and match existing. The sidewalk replacement will be in accordance with the engineering department construction standards following a final inspection of the concrete work. Now I'll conclude my staff report.
Any questions of staff? Commission want to take any action?
I'll make a motion that we approve, subject to the conditions set forth by the staff.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Westmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. McGarry,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Titterington,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. Cappers,
Yes.
Mrs. Early.
Yes.
It's approved.
Next, we have a historic district application for 116 South Market Street. Staff's report, please.
Yes, so this is our new business downtown Eclat Facial Studio. This is for the installation of a 30 square foot building sign and a 1 square foot window sign. Additionally, this is for the exterior paint modification. This building is permitted to have a total of 66 square feet with each individual tenant calculated separately based on the frontage they occupy. So essentially 33 square feet per tenant space. Additionally, there is a paint modification that was done without planning commission approval. Staff did address that and they were charged double with the application fee. I also brought an example of the paint sample that was used here. I know the photos didn't quite represent that. I could pass it around if need be. Staff recommends approval of the proposed signage and paint modifications based on the following. The proposed sign will meet the City of Troy sign code requirements. The proposed sign will not detract from the historic integrity of the building and streetscape. The proposed paint alteration does not detract from the historic integrity of the building. I'll conclude my report.
Any questions of staff? Commission want to take action?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. McGarry,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Titterington,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. Cappers,
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer.
Yes.
Approved.
Next, the application for 16 South Cherry Street. Staff's report, please.
So this is another new tenant downtown on South Cherry Street. The owner's Garden Properties LLC. This is really for a .765 square foot window sign. This is white vinyl lettering on the front door. So this is Suite A. There's 3 suites at this location. The building's permitted to have a total of 57 square feet. Again, this will be less than 1 square feet. Staff recommends approval of the proposed sign based on the following. Will meet the City of Troy sign code requirements and will not detract from the historic integrity of the building and streetscape. I'll conclude my report.
Any questions of staff?
Didn't Commission indicate that we didn't like phone numbers and
Yes.
www?
That was my question.
Yes. We have in fact indicated that these are signs for identifying the building and not necessarily should contain telephone numbers or email addresses or websites. We've said that in the past. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what the sign code, as you're developing that's going to say.
It'll clarify that, I believe. Yeah, and we just had that issue come up with the roofing company not too long ago, and they
Thrush.
took that off.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Thrush, it was
JG Roof.
Oh, yeah.
North
more
Market.
recently than that. So this is white vinyl lettering on the window, on the inside of the window of, or outside?
Yeah, on the front door.
On the door, that's it. There's no other sign that we're talking about.
That's correct, and it's going to be about, I would say, if I had to guess, 4 inches. The total height of the window sign is 8 inches.
Yeah, but I agree with Mr. Wilkie's synopsis that if we're going to approve it all, it'll be on a condition that we would have that removed. That's just my feeling.
I disagree. I like the sign. I don't have any problem with the phone number or the address, the website on there. But
We've consistently not allowed it though, right? From my understanding.
That's correct.
So either we need to, when we do our update, yeah.
No.
I'll make a motion for the sign, but the removal of the phone number and the
That it be
email.
approved
or
upon the
website
condition that
address.
that happens.
Yes, those are removed.
Of the phone number and...
Phone number and the
The
website.
Yeah. Is there support for that motion?
Second.
Motion and support, any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mayor,
no,
Mr. Titterington,
Yes.
Mr. Wolke,
Yes.
Mr. Cappers,
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich,
yes.
Mr. Westmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. McGarry.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Next, North Market Street, staff item report.
Yes, so this is a third new tenant on tonight's agenda. This is 4 Acre Clothing Company. This is on behalf of the owner, Betty Langer. I did include an additional attachment that is the owner's authorization for this location. This is for the installation of a total of 28 square feet building signs on the property. The applicant's proposing to install a 16 square foot metal building sign that measures 48 by 48 inches or 16 square feet, a 7 square foot vinyl building sign that measures 21 inches by 48 inches, and a 4.1 square foot window sign that measures 46 inches by 13 inches. The initial request actually had the building sign covering this old archway. That's a contributing feature for the OHI form, so we did encourage that to be placed upward above that contributing archway. Staff recommends approval with the condition that the web address is removed off of the window due to the proposed sign will meet all City of Troy sign code requirements, will not detract from the historic integrity of the building, as the signage does not cover contributing features, and the sign colors are commonly found throughout the district. And I'll conclude my report.
Is that a QR code?
It is a QR code.
I don't know how I feel about that.
We haven't addressed it.
We've never addressed the QR codes,
I have no problem with it. It's,
except for on the signing building. Remember, whether there was a QR?
I don't know, I haven't been up there in a while.
I'm gonna keep it.
I know we looked at it, so
I don't know that we've
I don't
discussed that.
think we
We haven't, that's why I was-
so high up.
I would just mention on the code, we should discuss that sometime or when we do the, I don't mind it. That would take care of the phone number and the
Right.
web address
Right.
and not look,
That's a very good point.
so. My question on this, is this signage on the window? Am I seeing that right, or is it above?
So we have, there's really 3 different signs. This address down here is at the bottom of the window. These are not gonna be blacked out. It just is made to help identify
Sure.
that. And then this is actually a specific vinyl that attaches to the brick. I did double check to make sure that once that vinyl is removed, for whatever reason in the future, it's not gonna damage it.
Okay.
And then this is a metal aluminum core sign that's attached into the mortar joints.
Okay, so they will go on the,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry, thank you.
And given the streetscape, I attached an additional photo. It is going to be consistent with adjacent properties in terms of placement of the signage.
Austin, so did you say that sign can't go on the window?
So that sign at the bottom is the web address, and the QR code is also on the window.
No. The one that's in the upper left on the brick.
No, the upper left, we did not want that to cover the cream colored archway because that's a contributing feature.
I don't know, I think it looks strange up there.
You're not getting the full flavor of it because there's 2 archways. It's kind of in the middle of the 2 archways.
Yeah, there's another one.
It will be centered in terms of the actual storefront, or a little to the left of the
And
center.
you have to account for this, what is it, a shadowed tree on the right side?
Yeah.
Is that gonna be a gray?
It's like a black, but it's a light black, almost looking
It
gray.
is the city's address. City stationary.
And that's going to be, I'm sorry, a metal sign?
Yeah, so the left is an aluminum core sign, this is an actual, the tree on the right-hand side is a vinyl made for brick.
Excuse me for
Yes, Mr.
interrupting on when I was talking. I just saw the letterhead, 100 South Market Street, and then it was 8 North Market Street, and I'm like, where are we?
Right next to.
It's
Bob
just
Katz's
Next to a
letterhead.
Gabi.
I didn't realize that was, because on the photo, it labels the photo, and I'm like, what the heck?
Any other questions of staff?
So the recommendation, though, is to remove the web
Remove that web
address.
address.
But the QR code's
QR
okay.
code consistent.
I'd make that motion.
A second.
Motion is second to approve the application with the condition that the web address be removed.
But the QR code stays.
Correct.
Well, now, hold it. Can we go back to the previous applicant and tell them they can put in a QR code on theirs?
No, they
They
didn't
didn't
propose
I
it.
think they can tell them, but I
They
don't think we
didn't
can
apply
go
for
back.
that.
I think they gotta
They could come back for one.
yeah.
Any further discussion? Please call roll.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, let's walk away from the historic district and talk about a petition to vacate an unapproved public walk between 1291 York Lane and 1285 York Lane. Staff have a report.
Yeah, so this is it's 30 feet wide public walk in between 1291 York Lane and 1285 York Lane. We do not know the location of other utilities that may exist. However, all easements shall remain in accordance with Chapter 723 of the ORC. The existing right-of-way is currently unimproved and not utilized by the city, resulting in this vacation. Staff requests that Planning Commission make a recommendation to City Council for this action. Staff supports the alley vacation.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. The city of Troy owns the portion of the property north of this, it looks like from this map. Is that the ditch that goes through there? Yes.
Yeah.
It is, okay. And the city of Troy can access that from Trade Square, east or west or whatever. What was the original purpose of this alley? If it just goes down into the ditch, is there any idea?
Well, back in 1807, maybe you could fill in the
Why was
blank.
it allowed that way?
I remember we did that.
Actually, I point to both of you.
Is there a reason to have it now? We don't need access to the ditch from there? Is that right?
Part of the problem is a garage got built on it somewhere years ago.
I didn't know that was a problem, but I'm still.
So we're just cleaning it up, somebody
And
decades
it's
ago.
not necessary, otherwise we would have had them
Remove the garage.
relocate
Yeah.
or something.
And just from the engineering standpoint of it,
Who in the hell are you?
yeah, I know. You missed me from sitting over there. So, right, yes, it is public right of way. It probably was put there for some use to access the ditch, but with the bike path on Trade Square, all access can be taken from Trade Square. We don't need it. Any easements through there, the ORC covers what's currently underground as being under an easement for
And the
that.
cutting
So,
of the grass in the ditch and stuff like that can all be done from the.
yes.
the public, right?
And it's fairly heavily wooded through there, so there's not a whole lot of mowing maintenance to that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions of staff? This is a recommendation of council, one way or the other. Yes recommendation, negative recommendation, or no recommendation.
I'll move that we recommend approval to the council.
I'll second that.
Motion and second to recommend to council that this be approved. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes,
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, next, a petition to vacate a 3-foot wide alley between in-laws 381 and 380. Staff have a report.
Yeah, so this is a 3-foot wide alley that the building at 121 Public Square Northeast actually sits on. The easement shall remain in accordance with Chapter 723.041 of the ORC. Vacating the alley will not adversely impact any of the adjacent properties. Staff requests that Planning Commission make a recommendation to City Council for this action.
Any questions of staff?
Just some clarification. So it was tongue-in-cheek about the 1800s in the last alley, but this alley goes back maybe almost that long ago. This was discovered, this is actually underneath the family abuse building there at the corner by Ray's shoe repair. That was discovered. It's changed hands half a dozen times, and finally they tried to sell the property, and the bank and or the title company realized that there might be a little cloud on the title. This has been a long process, complicated survey. So we are very hopeful that the council passes this so we can get the property sold between the buyer and the seller.
So there may not have been adequate title searches in the past?
I don't know. It's been called out every single time, but the sale has still been done.
Sure Al did do it.
So I'll make a motion to positively recommend it to the city council.
Before you go forward, just point of interest, I am on the board at the Family Abuse Shelter, before we take a vote.
I'll make a positive motion to move forward.
I did.
You did, I'll second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Motion by Mr. Titterington, second by Mr. Westmeyer. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Al told me I didn't.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mrs. Ehrlich?
I will recuse myself
Because she's on the member.
because I'm on the board, I guess.
Mr.
That's what
West?
Mr. Titterington says.
Well,
It may be easier to
didn't mean
spell
to get in the middle
abstain.
of you and
Yeah, I
her.
abstain.
She's on the board, so it's probably.
I abstain.
That's fine. It's your comfort level.
For the third time, I abstain.
Got it. Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mayor?
yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
Approved.
The next item on the agenda is the dedication of the right-of-way along Fenner Road. Does staff have a report?
So this is a 1.385 acre dedication of right-of-way along Fener Road and Edgewood Drive. The replat is considered an administrative item accepted by the city engineer, does not require planning commission or city council approval, so this is just for the dedication. Really, this has led to the proposed development, led to this request. The replat has been reviewed by the city engineer, and staff is requesting that planning commission make a recommendation to city council to dedicate the 1.35 acres of in-lot 6503 as right of way.
Just for everybody's information, the first page you see here, the pink area, that's the right-of-way plus the lot, okay? So if you take a look at this page, the right-of-way is more outlined right here. Am I saying that right? Awesome.
Yeah, that's correct.
Any questions of staff? Commission want to take any action?
I'll make a motion to approve.
One second.
Okay, this is a recommendation of council, affirmative recommendation. Am I hearing that
Yes.
correctly? And there's a second. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Early?
Yes.
Mr. Westmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. McGarry?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Titterington?
Yes.
Mr. Wolke?
Yes.
And Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
It's approved.
Staff have anything else to do with the commission today?
We're still anticipating 215 East Main Street to be coming in a future agenda. They're finishing up the roof and decking replacement like for like, so the exterior wall should be come before you in the future, funding dependent.
Okay. Commission matters, members have anything else they want to discuss? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.